America and other parts of the world, why is it that we got so passionate and angry about this alpaca? Why did Geronimo become such a big story? Was it just a bit of summer madness? No, it was never summer madness, because it wasn't just about Geronimo. This story was about Helen. It was a story about a courageous individual that's fought with the government for 5 years for what is right. Wouldn't you agree? It's a story about care and compassion for animals in this country that unites a very divided nation and makes me very proud to be British. Wouldn't you agree? And ultimately, it's a story about the decades of incompetence, negligence and deceit on TB policy that go back in this department. Wouldn't you agree? DEFRA had an opportunity, and so did the National Farmers Union next door here, to get behind Helen and say, yes, you're absolutely right. Your alpaca needs a decent TB test, a phage PCR test. But farmers need that test as well, because we must accurately find TB in cattle and alpacas. Would you agree? Yes! Because unless we can do that, we will never ever end this tragedy for our farming industry, for alpaca owners, and for our precious badgers. Would you agree? Yes! The tragedy of bovine TB is there is a solution. The government have actually been consulting on new methods of scientific analysis for tests, biosecurity measures and vaccination of cattle for months, but they haven't even had the decency to actually respond and publish their call for views. Do you think that's acceptable? No! And within that call for views, there's a section looking at phage PCR, how valuable it is to farmers, how valuable it will be to alpaca owners, and why Helen is quite rightly so angry that she was never able to test Geronimo when he was alive under that test. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! And I'm afraid what happened on her farm just over a week ago was one of the most brutal incidents of animal crime in this country that I have ever witnessed. Wouldn't you agree? And in any normal circumstances, the police would not have been defending the perpetrators. They would have been arresting them. Would you agree? The fact that this was sanctioned by a government department, the Chief Vet and the Secretary of State, does not make it right. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! The fact remains that the death of this animal, Geronimo, will not be in vain. Because what Helen has done, she has brought tension back in this country to what has been an absolute tragedy in government policy when it comes to farming and the environment, that has led so far to the destruction of over 140,000 badgers, and due on yesterday's announcement from the government, 7 more licenses, probably another 60 or 70,000 to die this year in the biggest mass destruction of a protected species ever recorded in this country. Do you think that's right? In one of the most nature-depleted countries on earth, ladies and gentlemen, we are pushing badgers to the verge of extinction in parts of the country where they've inhabited since the Ice Age. Are any of you proud of that? No! It's a national disgrace, ladies and gentlemen, and it puts a cart and horses through any government commitment to turn this nation into a world leader on animal welfare. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! So what Helen has done, she's lit a fuse that's going to blow a hole in this department. That is going to end the deceit, that is going to end the lies, that is going to bring about a fundamental shift in this policy, because it's like a deck of cards, it's all beginning to collapse. Wouldn't you agree? Now, I've spent the last 4 or 5 weeks, as Ian has, and you'll hear from him in a moment, working with Helen MacDonald and Pen Farthing, 2 of the most bravest, courageous people I've ever known in this country. And the one thing that unites them, fighting for an alpaca in Gloucestershire or fighting to get people and animals out of Kabul, is a love of animals, a love of people, a belief in humanitarian and animal welfare that I think all of us can be proud of. Wouldn't you agree? Yes! And the Spectator in their front page this week, and I debated with them on this, said that the growth of the animal lobby, the animal welfare lobby, the animal rights lobby, which they hold me and others responsible for, is a dangerous thing. It's a force for evil. It's a force for bad. Well, I'll tell you this. I believe that animal welfare and animal rights is as important for moving mankind forward as the anti-slavery movement, the universal suffrage movement, and the civil rights movement. Wouldn't you agree? Because in years to come, we will look back in horror how we treated animals in our farming system. We will look at horror how we treated animals when we tested on them. We will look back in horror how we allowed the shooting, exploitation and killing of animals, from fox hunting to badger culling to badger baiting to grouse shooting. All of it is disgusting, all of it is cruel, and the vast majority of caring, compassionate people in this country want to see it end, and that is something that makes me very proud. Wouldn't you agree? So Geronimo is a burning light of hope. His death is not in vain. Helen has done amazing things and has brought an army of caring, compassionate people together. And that army will continue to fight on all the issues that matter to all of us. Because this is a country that can be proud of caring about animals. This is a country that has a long track record of doing it, and we're never going to stop it. And no politician, from George Eustace to the Secretary of State, Mr. Wallace, or anyone, is going to get in our way. We are going to win these battles. We are going to find justice for Geronimo, and we will end the cruel, barbaric badger cull. Thank you very much.